All right, hello and welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And thank you so much for being with me here today. Today, I want to talk about an asylum update. I want to give my asylum update for 2020. And so yeah, to do that, I want to share my screen, if I can do that here. And so here is a little PowerPoint that I put together. I think you can see me here. Make myself a little bit bigger, do a little slideshow from the beginning. We'll do a, oh, come on. Display settings, there we go. All right, so Asylum Update 2020, let's get into it. So asylum law, basically I'm talking about two things today. I'm talking about asylum law and I'm talking about the asylum process. So asylum law, like what is asylum? You know, asylum means protection. So the idea of asylum is you're applying for protection, legal protection against a deportation, and you're telling the government that, look, your life would be in danger if you go back to your country. And so in order to qualify for asylum, you've got to show these requirements. You've got to show you have a well-founded fear of persecution, and it's got to be on account of and it's one of these 5 things. It's got to be on account of your race, your religion, your nationality, your political opinion, or your quote-unquote membership in a particular social group, all right? And so, yeah, that's the way the law works. Often these 5 things are the hard part, all right? And I'll just tell you, we got a lot of clients. We got a lot of asylum cases from all over the world, and we've won a lot of asylum cases from all over the world. But you know, the reality is there's a lot of violence that's happening. Like say in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Nicaragua, even in Costa Rica, in Mexico. There's a lot of people that are afraid for their lives to go back to their country, and there's a lot of people that have suffered a serious amount of persecution. Death threats, harm, violence. People have been, you know, I have clients that have been shot. You know, I've got a client that still has a bullet lodged near his spine from when he was shot at by these narco trafficking people that are moving drugs. All right. And the problem is that it's hard to show that they shot him because of my client's race, or his religion, or his nationality, or his political opinion, or his quote-unquote membership in a particular social group. It's hard to show that, all right? Really, they're doing it because they're total jerks, and they're asking for money, and they want control over their region, and it's hard to show that it fits within these, in my opinion, outdated U.S. asylum laws. But that's the reality. So this is the law. There are other laws to be aware of, okay? There are bars to asylum. For example, there's the particularly serious crime bar. If you have a serious conviction, you'll need to talk to a lawyer before wanting to apply ever. The most common bar is what we call the 1-year bar, which is a 1-year filing deadline. And that is to say that if you recently entered the United States, and if you're afraid for your life to go back, talk to a lawyer quickly, because asylum has a time limit. You've got to file within 1 year of your last entry into the United States, or else your case will be denied, okay? And so lots of things to be aware of. This is all I'm gonna say for now about the law. Now I wanna go into the asylum process. So here's the asylum process, 8 steps, all right? And this is the way our office does it. Different offices might do it differently, all right? Step 1 is to do a consultation and to make a decision. At the consultation, all right, we can go in greater depth into your story, into your life, into your situation. We can compare it to other cases that we've had. We can assess or help you think through what are the strengths and weaknesses of your case, all right? And then ultimately make a decision. If you decide to file for asylum, knowing everything about it, knowing the risks involved as well, all right, then great, all right? It's up to you, and you can decide, and that's really first step. After that, then in our office, we schedule what we call the legal strategy meeting, or the LSM, we call it for short. The legal strategy meeting is where we meet and we talk about, okay, what documents are we going to need to get? What are we going to need to focus on in your declaration? What everything needs to happen to build the case to be as strong as possible? What expert witnesses might we want to help bolster different parts of the case? All right. Step 3 then is, after that strategy meeting, we need to start gathering those documents and we need to do the declaration. All right. And so that's where we really build the case, complete the form, do all the work related to building the asylum case. Step 4 is we review and then file your application for asylum. All right. Step 5 is we wait 180 days, and I put in parentheses here 365 days because the regulations are changing. All right. And so the regulations are changing to make people have to wait a full year, 365 days, before applying for their EAD, their work permit, employment authorization document. All right. Step 6 is wait an unknown time for the interview. All right. So right now, there are 350,000 cases in the asylum office's backlog, and that's increasing every single day because every day more and more people are applying for asylum, but fewer and fewer people are getting their interviews complete, especially because of COVID-19 and the pandemic we're currently in. All right. So there's an unknown amount of time for the interview. All right. And the asylum office has been doing a last in, first out policy, which means that the most recent cases to file are going to be the soonest cases to receive their interviews. But we are unclear as to, even if you file for today, how long would it take to get your interview? Right now, we haven't, all of our cases that we filed recently, we haven't been scheduled for interviews, all right, basically since March of this year. And so, and some of that depends on different asylum offices. I know some offices are taking more interviews right now. I'm filming this in our local asylum office here is the San Francisco Asylum Office, and they are taking some. We've done some interviews, but that were filed quite a long time ago. We haven't received interviews on any of the cases that we filed since March. So, all right, step 7, 30 days after the interview, you should have a response, theoretically. All right, we've also seen it where the cases go into administrative processing or go into further background checks, and it takes a long time to get a response, like years to get a response. But typically, you go back in after your initial interview 30 days later and you have a response. All right. Step 8, if you were approved, you won. All right. And you can go through the process of getting your Social Security card, go through the process, you've won asylum. You can go through the process of petitioning for your spouse and minor children on the I-730 form. If you did not win, or if you were not approved, then your case will be referred to immigration court. All right, there are some exceptions to this. If you are maintaining a different visa, for example, you will not be referred. But otherwise, you'll be referred to immigration court. You'll be issued what they call a notice to appear in court. And that is the affirmative asylum process. All right, once you're in court, there's a whole other process to go through. I'm not going to go into that right here, right now. My purpose for today is to talk about the asylum process, the affirmative asylum process. Asylum is a risky process, all right, because if you file and if you lose, you're subject to deportation proceedings, which, as it's pointed out here in step 8, that is when you're given a notice to appear. That is when you have to go to immigration court and explain and argue your asylum case in front of the judge, all right? I'm also not explaining here the process at the border, all right? The Migrant Protection Protocol, the MPP program, is happening at the Mexico border right now, where people who are filing for asylum at the border, they're not being allowed in. They're being sent back and then given a master calendar hearing directly at a port of entry, all right? And so that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people who are in the United States and seeking asylum. This is the step-by-step process to go through it. I hope this video was helpful. I'll stop my share there. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If it was helpful, please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. If you have questions about your asylum case, or if you want to make your case as strong as possible, which if you're filing for asylum, yes, you do want to make your case as strong as possible, because asylum cases are not easy, all right? And so if you want to communicate with our office, please, follow the link or see our phone number here in the description here. Give us a call, all right? We do a lot of asylum cases. We've fought and won cases from all over the world, and we are seeing a lot of them still, even though there's a lot of pushback against asylum right now. And so if you've got questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to have our team talk you through that and see how we can work with you and make your case as strong as possible. Thank you so much for watching this. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And I wish you the very, very best. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.